Would you risk your F1 career by signing an F1 contract? Welcome to Tinfoil Helmets, your occasional spicy hot take roundup with all the latest F1 rumors, with the almost believable conspiracy theories to back them up. Everything here we have carefully researched for hours to make sure it's totally founded in logic, reason, and truth. Or not, who knows, because maybe I fell asleep during the sprint race.
And the qualifying, and the sprint qualifying.
Parts of the actual race.
Yeah, it was a... Did you fall asleep during the red flag?
I wish technically yes, although I wasn't watching the race at the time, but it gives an idea of how crazy my morning has been, that I believe I did technically fall asleep during the red flag.
That's all that matters.
I briefly thought about getting up to turn on the race, and I'm glad I didn't.
You would have missed many, many nothings. Should we see what we got right from the last time?
Yes, 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. I made a very bold prediction. I said that the new Honda engine would explode in Fernando's car while he was being in the points 75% of the way through the race. Now, on the one hand, he was in the points. So
first in 75% of the way through the race.
75% of the way. So I was doing well, but then apparently Honda have realized that they don't have to make the engines explode.
Aw, too bad.
No. And I said that Lewis would get at least one penalty. He didn't get a penalty on the track, but maybe emotionally he got a penalty.
Speaking of, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but penalty points are back.
Wait, what? Sorry? What?
Let me find the right decision, Doc.
I thought they weren't issuing penalty points.
You say that, but then you're like Liam Lawson for failure to slow at turn 3, a 10-second time penalty and 1 penalty point. 3 in a 12-month period. Car 43. Colapinto. Failure to follow slow for a single yellow flag turn 3, 10-second time penalty and 1 penalty point.
I have
Car 43, overtaking under yellow flags. Drive-through penalty and 2 penalty points.
I'm asking the robot.
Normally, such an infringement requires a 10-second stop-go penalty, but the stewards acknowledge that the complications caused by the circumstances, the amount of debris on track at this point, take into account mitigating circumstances.
Oh, there's a wonderful headline it's searching here. The mysterious disappointment. The mysterious disappearance of F1 penalty points in 2026.
Well, they're back now.
Okay, so here we are. The 12.12-month threshold for a race ban is untouched. What changed is the driving standard guidelines revised for 2026 after the FAA met teams and drivers in Qatar. Stewards are now guided to issue penalty points only for dangerous or reckless or apparently deliberate actions resulting in a collision or for other unacceptable or unsportsmanlike behavior. Okay, so that makes sense now.
So Carlos Sainz's 10-second penalty for causing a collision did not result in penalty points.
Well, it wasn't dangerous, it wasn't reckless, and it was not apparently deliberate. They don't say it's okay to give it for incompetence.
We should get into this later.
Yes. So, okay. So no penalty points because Lewis doesn't do them in a bad way, but no penalties either.
Yeah. My first prediction was do Max Verstappen. I made this prediction before he signed a contract. Otherwise, I never would have made this prediction.
But what was your intent? Because I when you look at the notes, you did only say do Max Verstappen.
Well, it wasn't him crashing on the end of lap 1 and DNFing from the race. So I will give myself a no there.
Okay.
I feel like a do Max Verstappen is relatively self-explanatory.
Did you know that every time Max has qualified P7 or higher... Sorry, every time Max has qualified P7, he is DNF'd.
That's a fun stat.
That is a fun stat.
It's like Vettel has never won from lower than P3 on the grid.
No.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Huh.
Go ask a robot.
When they said he could, when Fernando was mad at Lewis because said Lewis could only drive in pole position, he really should have directed Seb, who can't apparently.
Yeah, there's something to be said for you have the fastest car, you're good at driving from pole position. Yeah, you have the fastest car. I also said rain. Yes, it rained.
During
a race
session.
During a race session and right before a race session that arguably caused a massive crash and a red flag.
Boot, 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 Max Verstappen.
Pretty much. And I said Dominic forgets it's a sprint.
And I did.
Yeah, I did too.
It's because we don't really like sprints, so we don't want... We're never hoping for one.
I have a rant on sprints that we can do in the sprint recap.
Ooh.
But between then, did anything happen between the race drama?
There was no
You're
silliness.
you're missing something on here.
Oh, what am I missing?
George Russell got engaged.
Oh, yeah. George Russell got engaged to his longtime partner, Carmen Sandiego.
What? George is engaged. George is engaged. Charles got married recently, right?
Yeah, that was a few months ago.
And I think Alex is in a long-term relationship with the golfer.
Yes. I think they might have got engaged too.
They might. And then, like, there's Lando overall by himself.
Yes. From the, what they called the Twitch crew.
He's something like that, yeah.
There were pictures passed around on the internet of Charles with a baby, and everybody thought he'd got a surprise baby. But he didn't. It was his nephew, one or two.
Does Arthur have a kid?
No, the other brother.
There's another brother?
There is another brother.
Does he not drive cars?
He did for a little while, but he doesn't. I don't know whether
Does he
Arthur
do something silly like work in finance, have a real job?
No, I think he does.
In finance?
I think so.
That checks out.
So there was some prenuptial nuptials, and then there were a lot of racing nuptials with people making, recommitting themselves to the relationships that they've established themselves in for the long term.
I was very disappointed in the silly week that we had. Was just everybody saying, "Yeah, I'll stick with this. It's fine."
Well, the only one that I feel is suspiciously suspicious is Carlos, who re-signed apparently for $30 million a year, which is a lot of money. Albon only got a 1-year extension.
That sounds about right.
Is that because we think Albon's washed? Is that because Albon thinks he's got a chance at another seat? Did Albon sign a 1-year contract thinking that Max was going to leave and he could make his way back to Red Bull?
Well, to quote one of my favorite movies of Moneyball, a 1-year contract with a player means the same as a 1-year contract to a manager. There's no confidence there.
Exactly. So Albon also signed for 1 year.
I mean, I think it keeps everybody's options open.
Go.
Well, the problem is, let's say this year has been a development year for Alex to learn how to work with the new cars and everything else. If he comes back and obliterates Carlos next year, it's one of those, you're paying that guy $30 million. How much are you going to pay me? So, it could cut. It's one of those things. A 1-year contract could easily cut both ways. It's one of those, hey, we're keeping our options open. And the benefits for Alex is it's either, okay, well, you're essentially in a bit of a performance year for the next 12 months. Either do a really good job, and then it's well, you paid Carlos $30 million and I'm beating Carlos every weekend. So how much are you going to pay me? Or, it leaves him options to be McLaren have an opening because they finally ran out Oscar's contract and decided not to extend him.
What else happened?
The Russians are back.
Yeah, apparently the World Motorsports Council convened and had a bit of a powwow and decided to let Belarusian and Russians back into motorsport. Which that means only one thing is clear, especially given the previous conversation we just have. Clearly Williams are going to sign up for the money from the Russians and let Mazepin come back to Formula 1.
The real reason for the 1-year contract.
Yes, there we go.
There you go, Mike. We haven't had a conspiracy in a while, and there it is. The reason Alex got a 1-year contract is so they can sign Nikita back and get the Russian money.
Yeah, he needs 1 year, but Nikita needs 1 year build up, get back into shape again. Also, Hadjar punched a Mofo, to keep it family friendly, too hard and broke his wrist so that he couldn't race. And by Mofo, I mean a punch bag, a literal physical punch bag, and apparently broke his wrist. Which, when I saw the headline that this had happened, the thumbnail clipped off the fact that it was Hadjar out due to injury, and all I saw is Liam in the Red Bull, Yuki back in the Racing Bull, and I'm like, what? I didn't think...
What happened?
Yeah, well, I didn't think Isaac was doing too badly. I thought he was doing okay.
Okay, I want to paint a hypothetical for you real quick.
Okay.
You're Isaac. You have a wrist injury. Do you go see Lance Stroll's wrist guy?
No.
I agree.
Do you go see Danny Rick's wrist guy?
Isn't it the same guy as Lance Stroll's wrist guy?
Exactly.
I thought that was the whole thing.
So let's not do that.
No, don't do it.
Yeah. You go see, because I think, did Fernando? No, Fernando screwed up his face.
Looks the same to me.
Yeah, looks the same to me. It was that bicycle incident. Don't ride bicycles with Fernando Alonso. Yes. So
there were sadly some crashes at the bike race I was at over the weekend, and one of my friends who was there, he's a doctor, but he's like an ENT, and he does a lot of rhinoplasties and stuff like that. So we were joking that he made a comment of, I don't need to run over there. There's already two more real doctors than me over there helping out. And the joke we sent, or then the joke going around was like, this guy walks over and it's like, oh, man, we can fix that nose. Like, I landed on my hip.
You've got a bit of an ugly face there. Oh yeah, why?
Is it
Did
that
you have
bad?
an accident?
Yeah.
No, I hired the wrong person.
And then I think the biggest contract news is that Max Verstappen extends. I thought it was to 2030. You have 2028.
I thought it was 2028.
I thought.
Please
Well,
hold.
we can either disagree with each other or Google it.
We need to be factually correct, because if our conspiracy
Why would we start now?
Well, if our conspiracy theories are not based on reasonable conjecture and facts, they are nothing but crazy down.
Committed to the team through the 2030 season, an astronomical 4-year extension makes him the highest paid person in motorsport.
Okay, 2030.
Annual base salary of $92 million million euros a year. With performance structures factored in, it could be worth a maximum of 115 million euros a season.
That's a lot of money.
The total agreement is worth a jaw-dropping 460 million euros.
How many Red Bull drinks do you need to sell for that to work? That's a lot of Red Bull.
What is the average cost of a Red Bull? Let's say it's between like $2.50 and $5 a can, depending 12 can. Let's say like $2.50 a can by the time you include like multi-packs and everything that. Red Bull's profit margin.
Oh, I was just going to say, what was the cost to make a can?
It costs roughly 9 cents to 30 cents to manufacture a single can of Red Bull. So if we take $2.50,
That's quite a margin.
minus 30, yeah. Why do you think they're able to do this? We got $2.2 €2. This is exactly what the people come to our podcast to listen to.
They look for financial economic advice.
Well, we'll have a better statement at the end of this. So you got a gross profit of €1.88 per can of Red Bull. If he hits the total 460 million, which you probably won't with performance incentives because that car is shit. You need to sell approximately 245 million cans of Red Bull.
Do you want to know how many Red Bulls sold in 2025?
Yes.
13.969 billion.
They only sold 13 million cans a year?
No, billion cans a year.
Oh, so they're fine. This is a rounding error.
Yeah, this is rounding error.
This is 1/4 of Red Bull's can selling.
Yes.
It is Max's 4-year contract.
Yeah.
Oh, you could have taken him for more.
He could have taken them for more. He should have taken them for more.
That's what I'm getting out of this.
Sponsorship payments to athletes passed 1 billion for the first time in 2022. Before you count the F1 team football clubs and the media house.
I have to say, I really like Red Bull's marketing strategy.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable.
Well, the crazy thing is, like, they took all these obscure sports and they're like, we're just gonna pump a bunch of money into it, and like, yeah, and yeah, it's great. And then then they make all these like cool Red Bull videos and everything like that, and yeah,
it's all good. Which is why I think I know what Max's plan is. I think Max's plan is to take the money and run, so that he can start his own full-time driver academy and start GT Throne WEC team.
I'm just wondering do we have any idea what the contract concessions were for this?
There's not leaked out yet.
Because, I mean, there's been a lot of chat over the last, like, little bit about, like, the performance clauses and everything else, with Red Bull not really seeming to have the best car since Adrian Newey's last year. Some development issues, not listening to the drivers. I'm kind of surprised with all this, given how they haven't seemed to be listening to the drivers with development. But then again, I could have a lot of people ignore me for $460 million or million euros over 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to pay me $97 million just so you can ignore me, I mean, I'm down with that at the end of the day. I mean, I'll do that I'll take that over 4 years.
If any of our bosses are listening, we will take that deal. You don't have to listen to us for the next 4 years.
Exactly. I mean, as I say, I will take a quarter of that for 1 year. In fact, I will take an eighth of that for 6 months.
Is this working out to be a better deal or worse deal?
I don't know, if you're making $25 million a year,
we'll just have to classify it as AI infrastructure, and then you'll be able to get that number.
That would explain a lot. Explain a lot.
Yeah, so that's my big question is essentially what are the concessions? Does he have any outs? Because if I'm paying a driver that kind of money, I don't want them to have any sort of outs.
And for that amount of money, I think I'm probably okay. I'll accept that rule.
It does answer a lot of questions, though, essentially along the lines of, oh, will Max, or like, how long will Max be in Formula One? Does he want to keep going? All those ones that we had questions on and everything else.
So he'll be how old? He'll be 30?
I'm looking it up. Don't.
While
don't
you work on that, it was interesting
Okay.
to see the interviews with Toto, who looked very sad.
Okay, so a couple quick questions for you. How old do you think Max will be in 2030?
32.
33.
Ooh.
And he'll also have been in F1 for 15 years at that point.
Oh, that's less than I'd have expected, actually, but that makes sense. Okay, yeah.
How many more races do we have this season? Like 9?
10.
10? All right, so if he starts every single one of them, that will put him up to 255 race starts. And if we assume 24 races over the next 4 years, that'll get him up to 351 race starts by the end of his contract.
Maybe close to Lanzo.
The real question is, will Fernando Alonso still be on the grid when Max's contract expires?
He is the first driver since Graham Hill in 1973 to score a point over the age of 45.
45? 45.
Mm-hmm. Still outperforming his teammate.
I missed what happened to Lance in the race. Like, suddenly he was out of the race. I'm like, how did that happen?
Wait,
did he just retire? Yeah,
Oh,
just like drive into the pits and say, I'm done.
I missed that. He was so far off Fernando. I've got.
Did they both get the upgrades or only Lance?
No, they all
because they did bring an upgrade package.
They did, and they got a new engine.
Anything else between the race drama?
I don't think so.
Okay. So we do this podcast, right? And I assume we want to talk about people taking risks, close racing on a Formula One circuit.
Yes.
So let's talk about stage 1 of the Vuelta.
The what? The who?
So the Vuelta de España, the Tour of Spain, started on Saturday.
Oh.
And stage 1 was a time trial around Monaco.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Did they close the city like they normally do?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
And is it the same? Is it the track? Did they follow the track?
I don't think they follow the full track.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch the stage. I was doing other things. But I saw clips.
And it was spicy. There was close action. Taking the curb right up the barrier.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But because of... It was only 9.4 kilometers, so I don't think they did the full... I don't think they did the circuit. The circuit's longer than...
I don't the circuit's that.
Well, they started coming out of the casino.
Oh, like out of the casino?
Like out of the casino.
Huh. They know how to make a spectacle.
Yeah,
Normally, the drivers are trying to get into the casino when they, have a flat
Vuelta,
and go too far.
the route, stage 1, Monaco to Monaco. Where's the map? There's the map. Okay, so we started. Where's the start? Oh, that's the finish.
The racetrack for the race is normally 3.3 kilometers.
So we started up actually near Casino Square. We started at Casino Square. Then we left the racetrack and went out down a Boulevard de Moulins. We went down there to a roundabout and then came back and then rejoined the circuit by the bus stop. You know, the bus stop bit where they always have to like get out of the way coming down to the hairpin. Then you went all the way down to the hairpin, and then instead of going all the way to Portier, they took a left and went out and back down the sea a little bit, and then came back down, went through the tunnel, through the swimming pool section, took a left at Rascasse to then go up the hill a little bit, and then around through like the old stadium city part of the city, and then back around, and they finished, it looks like, right on the Formula One finish line.
Oh. I mean, as you said that they took the left at Rascasse.
Yeah, Rascasse is a right.
Yeah. And I'm just
they went left.
Oh, and they went all the way around, and I'm just imagining how much they've tacked on so that they can come back around onto the onto the finish straight.
I mean, Monaco's not that big, and they pretty much visited all of it.
How else are you going to squeeze in 9 kilometers?
Right? Yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of videos of cyclists on time trial bikes trying to do the lowest hairpin as fast as they could.
Did they also have the problem that basically it was too slow for them?
I don't think so, but it was
Okay.
there's a guy named Dan Bigham who actually used to work for the Mercedes Formula One team. I think we've talked about him
We have
before on
talked
this
about him
podcast. He is working with Visma, which sponsored by Red Bull. Visma Lisa bike presented by Red Bull, I believe.
Oh, not Jumbo
Sure
Visma
that.
anymore.
No. Visma. Oh no, they are Visma Lisa. They're not Red Bull. I forgot who's Red Bull. Oh, Bora Hansgrohe is Red Bull. My bad. Wrong team. Anyway, Visma Lisa bike, not the Red Bull team. But he works for Visma. And as an aerodynamicist, he has all these models to plug everything in. And he's like, this is actually one of the few cases where actually we care a lot more about tire grip than aerodynamics, because of just the nature of like how twisty the circuit was, because like they went through like 2 roundabouts, and then not only that, but like the hairpin on the Formula One track. So it's like, oh yeah, we can make a lot of time just by like people having confidence in their tires and like making sure we're running the right tires, right tire size, right tire pressure, and everything.
Did Pirelli turn up and tell them they had to drop the tire pressures for the safety of the tire?
No, Pirelli do make a cycling tire. They don't. There's no regulations around pressures.
Interesting. I think there's an opportunity there.
Well, I think the biggest problem is like the old Pirelli color range for Formula One tires is perfect for cycling,
Okay.
because like you want a nice indoor wood surface track tire. That's your pink Hypersoft right there. You're going like gravel racing on like rough gravelly roads. That's your super hard right there, right? And then everything else is somewhere in between on the spectrum.
And what about intermediates and full wets?
I mean, who cares about that?
Do cyclists have considerations where they'd like groove tires?
Yeah, kind of.
Just imagining them standing there having a conversation about how much water gets cleared per inch.
So cyclocross is one where they get really into like how many knobbies do you have on your tires, because like depending on, is the course dry, is the course muddy, like, what kind of grip levels do we want? Are we going to run 13.5 psi or 14 psi?
And which do you run when you do cyclocross?
I run whatever tire is on my bike. I think I have a Challenger on there right now, and I haven't touched it in years. But maybe I'll do the Woodland Park GP this year. You want to come do it?
No.
Okay, it's fun.
Where were we? Monaco?
That was my curveball for a loop, because I figured that instead of talking about that sprint race, we should talk about good racing.
Okay, good point.
On a Formula One circuit.
So who won the Monaco bicycle race?
Of course, today's Focaccia.
Okay. He's recovered from his crash in the Tour de France?
That was Jonas
Oh.
Vingegaard. Tadej Pogacar is the guy who won the Tour de France, and he's already won a stage. He's in the red jersey. Apparently stage 3 is just absolutely brutal. I haven't actually looked at it yet.
And is Vingegaard still out from his injury?
Yeah, he's called it on a season.
Okay.
Oh, that's brutal. It's a 174 kilometer stage. The climb the road starts to go uphill around kilometer 90. And then it tops out it's really like the last, I think officially they're calling it, the climb starts at 149k into the race and tops out at 158. And then there's a short downhill before it starts going uphill again. It could just be, yeah. Oh, does it stop being? It says it's asphalt. Oh, it's
You're an asphalt.
But yeah, there's like a whole thing of like, is the stage 3 just so hard that like the race is going to be decided by stage 3? Which, with Tadej Pogacar, it very well could be. Or as some people love to refer to him as, today's Focaccia.
So what happens when he's washed? Is he yesterday's baguette?
It's going to be years before he's washed. That dude is good. The joke with him recently is he used to, or not even the joke, but like the thing that we kind of found out at this year's Tour de France is that like he used to just, he's so good that he used to just like not really take it seriously and just, ride around with everybody and like have a couple beers and everything like that. And then Jonas like just straight up beat him that one Tour de France, and then he started taking it seriously, and he's just been untouchable since then. Like it's the equivalent of if like it would be very similar to like if after Abu Dhabi 2021, Max or Lewis just decided to start taking Formula One more seriously.
Is that what happened after 2016?
Well, I mean, that's honestly, Nico Rosberg might be like, with the exception of he just got like one title. If Nico had kept going, but that's not even fair because like Nico hadn't won a title before then.
Yeah. Are you trying to say Jonas and Nico are not the same?
No, I'm not. Like, I can't even think of a good Formula One, like, maybe. No, because like Vettel never came back. Like, I can't think of anybody that like Lewis is the best one for somebody who like won a title and then didn't win a couple titles and then came back and won a bunch of titles.
We just have to wait for the story arc for Fernando Alonso to complete next year.
I think if he could take it more seriously, he wouldn't have made so many career decisions that he's made.
Yeah, I do agree that there is a certain aspect there of I think Fernando Alonso does not take his career seriously.
All right, so I think we talked everything about the sprint race.
Yep.
I had two comments. That was this sprint race could have been an email.
Yes.
And it should have been 2 laps longer, so at least we would have gotten the rain.
Yeah. We always talk about the fact that the race starts at the same time, but they really need to start taking into consideration that it might rain and move the race so that it does rain during the race.
But then we'd have to see how these cars handle in the wet, and Formula One doesn't want us to see that.
It's a conspiracy theory to cover up the fact that they don't work in the wet. It's not that the car doesn't like have grip. The problem is the water and the electricity mixes and electrocutes the drivers.
Oh, I thought it was just the fact of nobody can actually control how the electricity is deployed to the brakes, or to the wheels, so it's just immediately gonna rev them up and spin everybody into a wall.
At low speed, that's okay.
High speed, not so much.
Yeah, but they won't get up to good speed because they won't be able to deploy the power properly.
I am starting to wonder if sprint races are worth it, because I'm not sure anybody is using it other than a testing session at
Correct.
this point.
Ever since they changed, because the original policy was you were parc fermé from sprint qualifying or whatever it is that they did, or the qualifying that did the thing, and they changed it like 2 years ago, which I think at the time was actually for the best because they were still adapting to the new cars at that point.
Well, I still think it's for the best because you don't want to lock people into like
Crappy
into a car configuration after one
Yes, no, I agree.
session.
But the unexpected interpretation of this is that because nobody cares about the sprint, they just use it as approximately a testing session.
Yeah, because like, I mean, the race was fine. I'd say it was your average Formula One race.
Yes, there is one point from quali I just want to bring up for the record of noting. As Albon braked into turn 1 in one of his qualifying sessions, as the straight mode ended and all the aero came back on, his car literally bounced.
Porpoising is back?
It porpoised, it went badoing, and the problem was he was in the braking zone, because you brake and it turns it off, and so it goes, you saw it depress and then bounce back up, and the front wheel left the ground, and so it locked up, and when it hit back down again, it was skewed, and he just skidded off into the corner. So porpoising is back. Okay, race, yes, let's go.
Well, I was going to say that like in the race we saw some overtakes and some overtaking attempts and some strategy, while in the sprint race it was like, okay, we're just going to do a processional here for a little bit to figure out if we're on the right track with everything. Like, it's good for, and there's not really enough, there's not a big enough point spread. Like, it's 8 points, and that's a decent amount of points from like 1 to 8th.
Yes.
But like, are you going to risk everything to not lose like 1 point if you're following like your closest rival? Probably not.
Are you going to risk everything to ruin a test session?
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Like,
nobody's going to do that.
So it's not that I'm like necessarily fully against the sprints, but it's just
I think
it's not good, man.
When they originally introduced it, I think that one of the things that you and I said on this podcast, if a listener would like to go back and encode the transcripts and find out where they are, we said what they should do is FP1, FP2, sprint race in reverse chronological order, then qualifying, and then the race. You get your 2 sessions, you get to set your car up, you get to feel good about it. Parc fermé should be after sprint, and then I think you end up with like it probably being worth something or interesting, because nobody wants the shame of being stuck down the back.
Yes.
Okay, well, what do we want to say on the race? Sprint race, terrible. Race, good. Race, not good. Race, okay. Race, reasonable. So before the race, it rained.
It did.
And apparently it rained properly. Not just a gentle sprinkling.
It did rain properly.
No. To the point that they did a formation lap behind the safety car because everybody went for slicks.
I mean, that seems fair.
Do you think, though, if one of them...
Do I think? Rarely.
I know, but we let you have it anyway. Do you think Max should have started on the inters and then he wouldn't have crashed?
I mean, there was no way to like. I mean, unless they were actually gonna like actually put on the inters, like from the rolling start. Like, I don't think it was gonna be worth it. I think the track was drying too quickly.
It's too dry.
Yeah. I mean, he would have gotten mugged off the start because the first sector was dry.
Yes.
It was only the third sector. And
it was a very rare situation. It's the first time since 2016 that Max has DNF'd due to an unforced driver error.
Ooh, that's a fun fact.
That is a fun fact. And these are the low grade fun facts. We've got some real fun facts when we get to the fun fact corner. So yeah, he slammed it into the wall. Luckily, he was okay. Gabriel, I'm not going to say his name. Bortoletto, behind him by like 5 paces, spun 360 and kept it out of the wall. And given that Gabby and Max are friends, I'm wondering if there's been a transcendental exchange from a Freaky Friday type situation of Max's ability to keep it on the road.
Hulkenberg did like a full pirouette.
No, that was Gabby.
Oh, that was Gabby? Yeah,
Gabby.
I was Hulkenberg that.
I was so disappointed when I saw Max put it in the wall because I was like, oh, because Lawson had been going at him on like turn 3 and there was like they touched and whatever, and I was like, oh, did Lawson risk his contract? Oh no, Max did it himself.
Hey, Liam was the highest finishing Red Bull driver today.
Which is good given what normally happens when you switch the drivers around in a Red Bull and you don't have a Max.
That just proves that car isn't as good as it was anymore because a secondary driver can drive it okay.
Yes, and that's the problem.
It's got to be right on the edge.
It's got to scare you into driving it properly, and at the moment it's too easy to drive. So then we did another... No, wait. One of the things that happened on the first start is George forgot how to drive his car, or more accurately start the car. And then what he can do is maybe drive it, but instead he goes backwards and tries to stop Oscar from getting past, I think it was, which means he loses another space, and George was too preoccupied with preserving his space that he forgot how to drive it. I thought it was very funny.
Yep. That's right. So then we tried to do another start, and then we went around again because
the Beaver was out.
Ollie Behrman?
Yes.
Yeah. Ollie just pulled over.
The car just apparently they were showing a
race for me.
They were showing a replay of the fact that his car just stops, everything turns off, and they were showing it, but then they cut.
Then how do we have cameras? And
exactly,
everything turned off.
Exactly, and then it cut to Lando pulling up to sit on pole, and you're like, why did you cut that? What are you doing? I wanted to see the engine conk out, but it didn't. It did mean we got the BEA VER out meme, which is rare.
And we got another formation lap.
Yeah.
So then finally on like lap 4?
5.
Well, let's see. We had 1 lap of green running, 1 lap in on the red flag, 1 lap out, 1 lap around again. So yeah, we would have been starting on lap 5.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
So the interesting thing for me there is like they put hards on for Oscar going out after the red flag. Right?
Brilliant
like, strategy. What great strategy call. And then like George pits and they immediately just toss Oscar in. It's like, what's the point of going with like a hard strategy?
I thought it was Oscar that pitted first.
No, George pitted first, and
George
they pitted Oscar to cover him off, even though they put him on a hard tire, which in theory would have him on an offset around him, and maybe he could run longer and all that. But no, we're going to immediately pull you in to cover off George. Like, there was so many, like, maybe there didn't get a lot of stroopwafel content. Maybe everybody was just drunk on stroopwafels because there were some real suspect strategy calls in this race. There were some real slow pit stops, like...
So it's not that they had too much stroopwafel, it's that they didn't have enough. They were low on blood sugar, and so they couldn't think properly.
They were low on stroopwafels?
They were low on stroopwafels.
Not enough stroopwafels.
Yes. Everybody tries to do a strategy. They were all very bad. Aston's went long. Lewis was supposed to go long, I think. The midfield got very spicy, which I thought was quite exciting. There was Gasly, Lindblad, Yuki, and someone else whose name I've now forgotten. Going hammer and tongs, and they were going in front of the other one, and they were locking up, and they were sneaking back on the other side, and I was going back underneath again, and I was coming back again, and then eventually something happened. I can't remember.
That was kind of like the best bit of the whole race, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. It was the most exciting part, provided for us by Mushroom Mode.
Unless you like Ferrari drama, because there was a lot of Ferrari drama going in. Lewis dropped an F-bomb on the radio.
I missed the F-bomb.
Well, they bleeped it.
I did miss that. When was that? Was that which of the many instances when Lewis was that when he was being the guinea pig?
No, it was before that. It was the it was something along the line. It was when they were asking him what tire he wants, and he said like, "Well, the medium didn't look good on Charles." It's like, well, whatever you want, it's fine. And he's like, "You have the data. Why don't you go look at it and tell me?" Like, which actually leads me to a very important question. Does Ferrari actually have data?
I mean, we all have data. It's just, is it the right data? Is it relevant
Oh,
data?
I'm not even going to go that far. I'm actually wondering, does Ferrari have data? Because this is not the first time a Ferrari driver has come on and said, what sort of lap time or what sort of tire, like, how is the DEG look like? A pretty basic racing question. And the Ferrari and the race engineer to be like, hey, it's, whatever you want vibes, like...
You want the tire, you're gonna have the tire. You do not want the tire, you cannot have the tire.
Like their strategy is not.
You've just given me a theory.
Yeah, so, good. So here you go, Mike. Another conspiracy theory.
Yeah. So one of the things that Toto has been saying, and some other teams have been kind of hinting at too, is how have Ferrari brought all of their upgrades? Because Toto came out after the race today and said, we're running out of money relative to the cost cap. And we can't afford to bring any more or very few upgrades. Our next upgrade is going to be in Malaysia. We've got to slow roll it. And they're trying to work out how it does it.
You mean Bahrain at Sepang?
Sorry, yes. Bahrain in Malaysia. It's I feel like that's the name of a shopping mall in another town. It's like, this is Saks Fifth Avenue in Ohio. And you're like, oh, okay.
Saks really off Fifth Avenue.
Yeah. But here we go. Here's the theory.
Do we have an official name for that Grand Prix yet?
I thought we did. It was the Bahrain Grand Prix at Sepang.
It is actually listed as Bahrain. It is the
yes.
Formula One Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix in Malaysia. I love it so much.
So here's the theory. Ferrari don't have any data because they don't have a strategy department because they're not paying for one and they never have paid for one. And this year it's finally paying off so they can pay the money that they'd have paid the strategy department to do the upgrades. Which they're all saving for next week. But that's for later. Yeah, it was I'm not quite sure what was happening with Ferrari. I think my personal theory, the whole race this today has been completely screwed up because everybody had to do a red flag and they're all tired and they didn't get enough street waffles. You look very confused, Andrew. This is not a video podcast.
The Bahrain Grand Prix in Malaysia, the track time of that race is 5:44 in the morning.
For who? Which time zone?
Oh, so because I'm on the. If you go to like formula1.com/en/racing/2026/Bahrain, the track time for the race says, they have like the little clock thing that it's like my time that's the current time. Okay, I thought it was for the event. It was like it's just actually what time it is,
and it's believable because it's such a screwed up type of race anyway. It is actually quite believable that could actually be what was going to happen.
Well, I was thinking also that like they still had it set for like the race taking place in Bahrain. So like maybe it's like a morning race in Malaysia just to like make it make sense with like everything else. But it's still like the track time is listed as like the Bahrain track time.
What was the time they did the first Las Vegas race at? That was like
11 p.m. or something, like 10 p.m.
So
it was enough that like we on the West Coast in the time zone where the race was were like, this is too late for us to be wait for it.
Those Europeans.
I think practice 2 was like at 2 a.m. or something.
Oh yeah, because they had the manhole covers.
Yeah.
Apparently a whole bunch of people in Washington DC this weekend are very confused, shocked / annoyed that and think it's a part of a conspiracy theory that the IndyCar race that's there this weekend has been going around welding the manhole covers shut, and they all think it's for security reasons. And I saw the comment on it, just like F1 drivers thinking back to Las Vegas, like, no, that seems reasonable, you should do that. So where have we got? We got to the middle of the race, I think.
Yeah, and then I had to go check on my pizza dough.
What's its name? Does it have a name?
No, it's dinner tonight.
Oh, I'm getting confused with sourdough starters where people started to name their sourdough starter.
No, I don't name something I'm just going to eat later in the day.
So you're not going to kill your own meat?
Well, not today.
Okay. Have we finished ragging on the Italians? I'm
still not convinced they actually have any
no,
data.
I agree. I can. They did for a few
Think
races.
of how much money they do save on the cost cap by not having the data.
Think how many LLM tokens they save by not spending them on them. Who needs data? We've just got vibes.
Actually, that would be maybe the best use of Ferrari strategy department is just take like the publicly available lap time data that like everybody gets and just be like, "Hey Claude, our tires seem to be degrading. When should we pit?" You should have pitted 2 laps ago. You're absolutely right.
If I ever end up making the choice to become unemployed again, of my own free will, that's what I should do. I should wire up the live feeds that they get the data from straight into a reasonably fast LLM. I'll pay like for the OpenAI now have one that does 750 tokens a second, and I'm just going to put the up-to-date information in, and with the same prompt, should we stop? and see what happens.
And then submit your resume to Cadillac.
Well, they just stop anyway. They don't need help with that.
There was some between race drama there, if we want to just jump all over the place, of that they're requiring everybody if you're a UK engineer, they want you to move to America.
I find this fascinating because does that really work? It's separate from the whole talent thing. Is it really viable to have the team run entirely out of the US?
I mean, did you see Ford versus Ferrari?
Yes. So the answer is no. We should bring this back on target. Otherwise, we're never going to finish this race. Which is why I felt like watching the race that it felt like it was never going to end because it kind of kept going. Where were we? We had the midfield thing. And then there was a VSC because they like to throw VSCs. And then I think everybody except Lando, that mattered at least anyway, decided to pit. Lewis is angry on the radio because they're not quite sure because they took a moment to bring him in. Kimi pits for softs. Oh,
there was some other between race drama we forgot about.
Should we
that
finish this?
Leads into that. Okay, we can finish.
Just finish a little bit here.
Yeah.
And they don't pit
and
George.
Then Charles almost hit Lewis, and then the race was over.
Basically, Lando scuttles up the road. Kimi rocks up on George, and then George just lets him past. The best thing was listening to George on the radio earlier before this happened, saying, so we should play the team game, if like Kimi isn't gonna win the race, then like we should play the team and like put me in front. Like
threw away the double podium.
Which was fine, and then again double podium. And then blah blah blah. Lewis is about to overtake George. Carlos drives into Alex, sprays the track with crap. We get another VSC. The VSC ends. We have 2 whole laps of racing that we might get, and it's going to be great. Lewis comes up again, and it's going to be great. And then Charles decides it's a really good idea that he should try overtaking Lewis, so Lewis has to defend, and then George gets away with it. We end with Yuki just missing out on the points. Yuki had a really good race. Lawson gets a 10-second penalty for a yellow flag infringement, along with like 15 other people. And then everybody's left, especially me, feeling unsatisfied for Lando's win, which I thought was actually a justified win, but somehow it was unsatisfying. And then annoyed that George got a podium.
Yeah, it was like he was on pole, but then there was some midway screw-ups. It didn't look like he was going to win, and then suddenly like everything just kind of fell into place for Lando.
2 wins on the trot.
I mean, it's how races go. I'm not convinced that Lando's a serious contender for this championship yet.
Yeah, we'll see with the Mercedes can't develop the car anymore. Okay. You had more between.
They don't need to develop the car. They just need to nuke the engine.
I don't understand.
Because it's McLaren runs the Mercedes engine.
Oh, you mean that Mercedes need to nuke McLaren's engines?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yes, that makes sense. Easy peasy.
Okay. So, speaking of Cadillac moving everybody to America.
Yes.
Do you know who Mark Walter is?
No, I don't.
So, he's a American businessman who is like part of this global insurance thing.
TWG?
Yes.
Yes, I've heard about this. I do know this gentleman. Well, he's not personally.
Yeah. So he's facing some legal trouble for potentially like using insurance money that he should not have used to buy a bunch of sports teams.
Because he bought a NBA team, right?
The Lakers, and he just had to sell the Lakers as part of this. He also owns the Dodgers, and more interestingly,
Cadillac.
The Cadillac Formula One team. So, where do you think this is going to leave Cadillac?
Exiting the sport in 12 months' time after everybody's moved.
Or does it become Andretti?
That would require Andretti to have the money.
He might. Actually, it's just kind of a half big thing. Anyway, it's all interesting and somehow tangentially related to Formula One, that this guy who's somewhat related to Formula One is having to sell a bunch of his assets. because he might be in some financial trouble or legal trouble.
Did you hear about the other billionaire who took a 10% stake in the Aston Martin F1 team?
No.
I can't remember his name, but he did this week.
Okay.
Charles Balloon, still in the team.
Is this the only way that Lawrence can fire Lance?
Yes. I'm sorry, son. It wasn't me. The new investor said I had no choice, so I have to fire you. I'd have kept you, but I couldn't. Should we move on to driver of the day?
Let's do it. I didn't write one down.
Okay. Well, I will alliterate long and blindingly complicated justifications for this, and you can think of one. My driver of the day was Yuki, because Yuki did pretty good. And then my driver who couldn't wait for it to be over was everybody, because they all looked kind of tired and they wanted to go home, and they realized that they had a great summer break and they didn't want to deal with it anymore.
I'll go with it. I like it. That is a great driver who couldn't wait for the day to be over.
Yeah,
everybody but Lando.
Yep.
Lewis is probably my driver. If I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Lewis.
A driver who couldn't
wait for their day to be over.
Yeah, I can feel that.
As far as my driver of the day, it has to be Max Verstappen, because if you can only do one lap of work and get paid 92 million euros a year, that's a good gig.
Well, you need to average it out. So 92 divided by 24.
That's a really good question of like, how much money per racing lap is Max getting paid?
Well, so that was $3.8 million for a race. So assuming he's on his new rate, which he isn't yet, he would have been paid today for a weekend's of work. So he did have to put his effort in a little bit. $3.8 million.
So you're saying it's 3.8 million per race? I assume for like a 24 race program.
Correct. Which is why you need to work, because what you need to do is work it out per kilometer. What is the required length of an F1 race?
Well then for today, he earned, if he was on his new rate, it would be 3.8 million euros per lap.
Sure, but
actually, it's greater than that because he technically never completed the first lap.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah, he's closer to 4 million a lap.
So at 3.8, and it's 305 kilometers, he gets paid 12 grand a lap, 12 grand a kilometer.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain. I have to work that though, because even if you get 5 laps before you get crashed out, you still haven't quite got enough to cover all the things that you need to get covered. Minimum distance 305 miles. The Monaco Grand Prix is the exception, so he gets paid more. That's 260. Right. So, which team debrief would you like to be in?
Ferrari.
I would like it noted that I have heard from my friends at Ferrari that there is now a seat in their room, because I asked to be in the Ferrari garage too much, because they just have so much stuff that you just like, what? I want to hear the happiness, I want to hear the lows, because it's never like, oh yeah, it's another race, Ferrari did what Ferrari did. It's more like, oh, it's another race, Ferrari did what this time?
My other answer would be whatever team is furthest away from Mercedes, so I have the least chance of hearing George whine.
I like it. That's an excellent idea.
Thank you. I'm trying to bring a little bit more of the conspiracy spice this week.
And then I will pop in on my way back from the Ferrari garage. I'll pop into the steward's room and give them a cash tip, because they worked really hard today, offering about 8 different penalties.
I mean, if they were paid per penalty point.
I mean, they are. If you touch the rear one, you get 50k for a big dinner.
Fair enough.
Checo versus Valtteri watch.
Is it even worth watching?
Well, Bottas did out qualify Perez, but
and he qualified for Gravel Worlds. We didn't talk about that in between race drama.
He did, but he can't participate because he's got a race to do.
Oh, is it? Hold on.
Conflict on the weekend.
When's Gravel? It's in October, isn't it?
Something like that.
When is Gravel Worlds 20? When is UCI Gravel Worlds? October 10th and 11th. So that's Singapore.
Oh, yeah, it's a bit of a long way. You can't quite pull that off.
It's in Perth, I think. Well, it's outside of... All right, it's in Western Australia. Like, come on, that's practically Perth.
He could do that.
Because there's nothing else in Western Australia other than Perth.
And remember, in Singapore, the race is in the evening. It's a night race, so he could do that.
Do they have an airport?
He doesn't need one. Well, I suppose they need an airport.
Well, you have to get there, man.
You have to have a landing strip.
Oh my gosh, it's south of Perth. I didn't know there was a south of Perth. Actually, the flight to Perth to Singapore is longer than you think.
9 hours? Australia's a big continent.
And out of the way too.
Well, that's why the British Empire sent all the...
5.5 hours.
Oh, that's not too bad.
From Perth to Singapore. So what? He'd have to finish pretty quick.
He could do FP1, FP2.
Skip qualifying because he's going to be at the back anyway.
You can't skip qualifying. You have to participate in qualifying to be in the race.
No, I watched the F1 movie.
Yeah, that's the fatal flaw in the F1 movie. They didn't follow the regs.
Yep, that's the one problem in the F1 movie, is that Brad Pitt did not participate in qualifying for Abu Dhabi.
I demand a remake of the F1 movie, the director's cut called F1: The Regulators Edition. Oh, sorry, the Race Stewards Edition. There we go. Okay, fun fact corner.
Let's do it.
Fun fact, Kimi will go into Monza as the first Italian to lead the World Drivers' Championship at an Italian race since 1953. Was
that Ascari?
I don't know. I'd have to check it. I just remembered the headline. Number 2.
Hold on.
Now
I need to know how good my F1 knowledge is.
But is that just statistical distribution of an Italian F1 driver in the 50s? It probably was Ascari, because he won a championship.
Grand Prix. Oh, was he that? Winning it was. Hold on. It was Ascari. I was right. He retired from the race. Yeah. He did not finish. But that was the final race in the World Championship that year.
Oh, but he won.
Yeah, no, he retired. He won the championship, retired from the race. Juan Fangio was the winner of the race.
Stroll is one Q1 exit from having 100 Q1 exits. that is like
you know what's actually like more surprising in that?
Do you want to hear my next stat? Because it plays into Yuki in the season's rankings for the season. Is now ranked higher than Stroll, and Yuki has only participated in one race this season.
Okay, no, you want to hear like something crazy about Lance Stroll being only one Q1 exit away from 100 Q1 exits?
Yeah.
He has 205 entries into races and 201 starts, so he actually gets out of Q1 more than he doesn't. And if you would have asked me if that was true, I would have said no.
So I've been idly rewatching.
He is more likely to get into Q2 than exit in Q1.
Remember, some of this was because they stole the car in 2020, the pink Mercedes.
Oh, for sure. But Lance's qualifying form cannot be outdone by a stolen Mercedes.
Now I secretly want him to come onto the track and literally steal the Mercedes from Georgia.
You know, Lance Stroll really should have been like a baseball player.
Yes, I get that. Yes, that's a very good analogy. He's like, that Major League Baseball player who not bad enough to be somewhere else, not good enough to be somewhere lower, but also it's very complicated.
The Mendoza line?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just thinking of the fact of like he succeeds like barely 50% of the time. And in baseball, that would be an all-star if you succeed 50% of the time.
He's above replacement average, below replacement average, or whatever it is.
Well, when your dad owns the team.
Yes. Spicy takes and rumors?
I mean, I think there's a impending spicy take if I feel like I'm digging more into the finances of the guy who just sold the Lakers.
I concur that there'll be something with Cadillac there. I know what's going to happen. I worked it out. Alpine's going to get sold to
Cadillac are going to sell to Toyota, and Toyota's back in Formula One.
Oh, I hadn't thought that one. That's a good one. I was going for the more ridiculous one, which was Alpine finally sells to some private investors run by Christian Horner. And then Renault will buy Cadillac and build a new car and a new engine entirely in America.
There you go.
Predictions for Monza, the Temple of Speed.
Is it with these cars?
Oh, yeah, we're about to find out.
We're going to find out, because remember, everybody said, like, Monza's going to be the one where they're totally exposed.
Unless your name's Ferrari, where you're going to bring everything you possibly can.
Well, that's the real development strategy that Toto doesn't understand. The season ends for Ferrari at Monza.
Yes.
They're not going to develop after Monza.
Yes. Which is why I think they're going to bring every possible upgrade, and they're going to dominate in every possible way except strategy. Which is
That's not an upgrade.
Well, everything else is an upgrade, just not the strategy. Which is why Kimi will win. and this will create a schism across Italian society, resulting in questions in the Italian parliament because they're not sure whether they should be cheering for Kimi, the Italian who wins the race.
Like the Tool song?
What?
Schism? The Tool song?
Sure, let's go with that. I was meant a discontinuity within the British, no, not the British, the Italian society, because they don't know whether they should be excited for Kimi or disappointed for Kimi, because Ferrari would not have won, and Ferrari could have won, and the greatest thing you ever want as a Formula One fan in Italy that is Italian is you want Ferrari to win.
It's true. All right, so I went with 2 predictions for Monza. I had super clipping because it seemed topical and logical.
Super clip
is super clippy. And then I said that the Italian national anthem will be heard on the podium.
How many times?
I'm not saying that. I'm just going to say it's going to be heard on the podium.
Because you get one for the winner.
And one for the constructor.
And one for the constructor.
So I'm saying that either Ferrari will win or Kimi will win.
Kimi. I'm going to be so upset when it's George.
Yeah, but George won't be upset.
I just want George to be less annoying. That's all I'm hoping for. Okay. Anything else? We should wrap this up and land this plane.
Sure.
As always, we are ever grateful for your listening to our podcast. And we are always awaiting your feedback at Tinfoil Helmets. No, wait, that's not right. Feedback at tinfoilhelmets.com. And let us know your conspiracies, feedback, and wants. And also tell your friends to like, listen, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcast service that you would like to listen on.
We'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the... Hold on, let's get the correct name. The Formula One Pirelli Gran Premio d'Italia.
Every time they say Primo, I just think about ham.
Pagliacci's.
Prosciutto! Okay, bye.
Do.